was sitting there watching the news last night. Can I tell you how eerily similar everything is kind of leading up with Iran and with Iraq? Just the way Fox News was portraying it back then and how it is now. Like it without a doubt, I think we're going to war with Iran, the way they keep building it up on the news.
Well, Donald's really into that right now, isn't he?
Well, see, he claims he's trying to not go to war. That's why he fired John Bolton, was because he was more of a war hawk. So, but it was just, I can't really explain it. It was just something where I was watching it last night and I was having deja vu. I was like, damn, it was just like this in 2003.
Really?
The lead up to it. It's like they got to condition the public for it.
Of course, yeah, that's that preemptive programming that David talks about all the time. They just get you ready for it, and then they implement it after that. But
And man, I watched one video last night that went far out about how George Clooney is in with the CIA and all that shit. Oh man, it was so dope.
What?
Dude, it's got he's he's real big into with the UN, and his wife is a big time lawyer who works for the UN. And
I didn't even know that.
It was showing how 2010 to 2013 was this deep state kind of taking over, and they just kind of miscalculated how much they could do. And that's why you eventually had Donald Trump and the uprise.
Okay.
So, but yeah, like I said, it was so because A was just talking about how he comes from a connected family, whatnot, and then he's always with Obama. He's been with Clinton. He's been with all these bigwigs.
Right.
And it just shows. And he was in the WikiLeaks emails. Mm-hmm. He was mentioned almost 300 times within those communications. And
Seriously?
one of the emails was talking about how Clooney has always been very responsible and what was the word? A very good agent to push the State Department's agenda
across.
Yeah, to push it upon the public to kind of wow.
Okay.
Because what it was boiling down to is kind of what I was taking it. He's in Africa doing this big peace mission.
That's what he's doing right now?
Allegedly, but really all it is allowing the military and them to put military grade weapons within Africa for basically, they're saying it's to help control the bad guys. But when they want to flip that switch.
No, yeah. That happens all the time.
Yeah, so it was just fascinating. When you start looking at the pictures and you're like,
really?
God damn, man.
Huh.
George Clooney.
Right.
I mean, then again, he could be the president one day. We'll have to wait and see.
Jesus Christ, that'll be a day.
Yeah.
But
he said the same thing about Donald Trump.
That's
10
a great
years
point.
ago.
That's a great point. That's a great point. Let's see. I mean, I guess we could just honestly just for this little portion right here, we'll just pick up where I left off on that one video on 9/11. But since we're talking about Iran anyway, in that kind of region, but because you watched the same video I watched about the stuff with the put options and all this kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
The day before 9/11, September 10th, 2001, 4,516 put options were put on American Airlines. That's not a coincidence.
No. And like I said, on top of that, you got multiple people saying that they was called and told not to fly that day.
Yeah, like this right here. San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown receives a warning not to fly the next morning. Reports of eyewitness testimony saying it did not look like commercial aircraft in the air when it flew into the towers.
Yeah,
there was no windows, is what it looked like. And there's even media members that had said that the public never really knows what truly happened. And kind of know the dressed up version of it.
Yeah, and I got to thinking right there because I think there was a basketball coach, a very famous basketball coach. He said that he was told not to fly. Somebody dealing with the at the time back in 2001, MTV was big shit. It was really, really popular. And one of their popular reality stars came out and was like, "Yeah, I was told not to fly," or so something happened. And what it seems to me right now, let's just say for instance that we talked about how they with the Operation Northwoods.
Yep.
And basically they could have taken all of those, the 4 planes, all of those people that was on board, and easily done something with them.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then
discarded them basically and put drones in their place.
Yeah, and
whatever,
but
right?
you had all these celebrities coming out giving these stories as a way to make the public be like, "Wow, weren't they lucky?" You know, like they knew somebody who was almost on one of those flights. Everybody had that feeling.
Everybody had that story.
Everybody had that story, like, and what was I going to say with that now about them discarding them? What about that airplane that's disappeared and they still don't really talk about?
Because that one that the crash
Malaysia.
Never. Oh, that one too.
Yeah, think about that one.
I've heard about that too. I've heard that they were taken. Well, no, I think that you might have said this, that was actually part of the they gave him to the Grays.
It could have been, yeah. But like with that one right there, like I said, I mean, you've heard about how there was like so many people in the business with this one patent was on that flight that disappeared.
Oh, really?
That was doing business with China, yes. Like it was very, like at that time, a very highly technology.
Mm-hmm.
And they was in the process of, doing some type of business deal. And the theory was that the Chinese government basically hijacked that airplane in order to get that technology. But see, and there's a lot of people who says that also that plane was hijacked so they could get their own one of the big ass jets?
757.
Yeah, for a possible future terrorist attack.
Jesus.
I mean, anything's possible. But
of course,
again, that was one that was out there, and then it's like nobody talks about it. It's like,
not anymore.
Yeah,
it was there for a minute, but then all of a sudden it's like, all right, we'll just
a plane disappeared.
File that down.
Yeah, no biggie.
Right. Yeah. Right. It's never found. Yeah, we'll just leave that alone though. Let's see. Russ Wittenberg, was a commercial pilot. He flew two of the planes that were used on 9/11, so the 757 or whatever the other ones were. And this is a quote from him: "It could not have flown at those speeds without going into high-speed stall." Like on the radar, how they were saying the maneuvers that the planes were making were like, it was like either it was fake in terms of it was a drill, or there was a trained like Air Force pilot in the damn cockpit. Like they were unbelievable pilots in the maneuvers they were making. And he's saying that it couldn't have been the planes that they claimed that were actually hit the buildings, because those planes at those speeds with those kind of cornering would have went into stall.
Yeah,
which is interesting. And like I say, I mean, this is part of it right here. Danielle O'Brien, air traffic control. The speed and the maneuverability, we all thought it was military. We all thought it was a military plane. Yeah, was the quote. So, and then it goes to this flight. No, there was no trace of Flight 77. The official story as to why was because intense heat from the jet fuel vaporized it. And then this is the same question I was trying to ask Zeb the other night. How could the engine burn up by the fuel that it was using? That doesn't make any sense to me. Because if the engine's going to use the fuel inside the engine, because it's got to burn it, then it can't melt the metal. You know what I'm saying? Because the engines would have been there, but they weren't. And there's no way for them to burn if we're claiming that it was burned from jet fuel, because it uses jet fuel. So that doesn't work. Also, before the roof of this is talking about the Pentagon. Before the roof of the outer wall collapsed, the only damage to the Pentagon was a hole no more than 16 feet in diameter. And I'm here to tell you that a Boeing 757 is not. Is that also what they claim to hit the Pentagon?
It was a big ass plane.
Either way, it's not 16 foot. That's what I'm trying to get at here.
Yeah, it's a big ass plane, and on top of that, like I said, just release a video. Let us see it.
Okay, that's part of the thing.
Yeah.
There was a, which I have that on here. That there's, or maybe I don't. There was a gas station across the street, wasn't there, or something like that?
Yeah, gas.
There was what else?
I think it was a hotel, wasn't it?
Hotel, yep, a hotel, and the feed from the
state.
Yeah, the DOT, Department of Transportation. They had to feed from the highway or whatever it was, and then the Pentagon feed. It's itself. It had so many cameras surrounding it. If it was a plane and if it was exactly what you say, then just release the footage.
You're right. And, I forgot all about this, too, because look at it this way. They could come out tomorrow and release that footage,
Right.
it would kill the 9/11 truth.
Oh,
movement.
100%.
A lot of 50% of the people are like, well, all right, I got duped, I'm out.
Yeah. Close up shop.
One of the theories I heard back in the day was that the whole 9/11 conspiracy theory was started by the government.
I could see that.
Because what it was is that, all right, let's just say it did happen the way it was. The official story is legit.
Okay.
It would look worse on the government that these 20-some hijackers
Actually
was able to do what
it.
they did. So that would create almost a mass fear among the public. And the way they kind of curtailed that was say, let's start a theory that it was an inside job. To where then people started looking at not the weak government, but the all-powerful government.
Okay.
And it made them easier to fall in line.
Interesting.
Then let's say if, let's say they tried some shit. Like, let's say Bush lost the 2004 election and John Kerry came in and created this radical left agenda, but yet they had the perceived notion that the government was weak from 9/11, they would have never put up with it. But where they was able to create the big bag, what's that word I'm looking for? Why can't, damn.
You're getting 5G down.
Big bag, I know I am. I'm kind of out of it. I didn't sleep good last night.
Oh, hell, I hear you.
The monster, the boogeyman.
Okay, I got
the
you.
boogeyman's over here, and your savior, the government's over here.
You know what's funny about this? I listened to Candace Owens. Mm-hmm. You know who that is?
Oh, yeah, it's very sexy.
Jesus Christ.
She is.
Well, anyway.
Yeah.
She was talking on Joe's podcast and was saying that it falls in line exactly what you're saying. They kind of are trying to become the new religion in terms of now God is the government.
Yeah.
And it's why most of the people that want to look for government handouts, they're like, it's for some reason in human nature to think that there's an outside source that can solve all your problems. Mm-hmm. And the government wants to be that fill for you.
Yeah.
So it's like, come to us for everything because we're going to be your savior. And people are really buying into that. And they're really saying that the government can fix everything.
And that's why, the people that know this shit really well will tell you that we're becoming a communist/socialist country. Because that's basically what it boils down to, is that most communists are atheists as well are socialists. And
all that kind of ties in?
Yeah, and what it was like Karl Marx, if I'm correct, it's been many years since I read
the Marxist.
this. Yeah. That, the working class people, the lower class people, it's that their belief in a God and the afterlife is why they put up with the shit they put up with now. And that basically they was trying to kill religion so that people would wake up and say, no, it's about the here and now, and that this ruling class, which at the time was the church and the monarchs, are controlling you. So there would be that uprising of I can't even think of the name that they had for the working class people. If we'd had this conversation 10 years ago, I'd be like, oh, this.
I got you.
I don't remember it right now. But there was a class for the working class people. And
well, this almost sounds legit then, because it's kind of true in terms of the people being controlled.
Very true. But at the same time, my question is, some of those lower class working people is probably happier and more satisfied than the ruling class people because they was more worried about getting power and material goods.
Yeah.
So,
which is true.
And the thing is, now the Democratic Party is filled with mostly atheists who, in return, everybody has that need of wanting that external father figure, or, some type of religion. Government and religion, politics is their God.
Yeah,
that's what you have it now.
Right,
and,
which is exactly what Candace was trying to say, which is very apparent. But to continue on this real quick, because we're pretty close to done on this little sheet here. Let's see. Okay. April Gallup was working in the Pentagon's West Side when it hit. She was in the hospital because of it. She was visited by men in suits more than once. They never identified themselves. They would make suggestions of what she should say. They told her to take the victim compensation fund and shut up. Like, don't say any details about, like, that you heard multiple explosions or whatever it may be. They kept insisting that a plane hit the building. They kept on telling her that, basically to try to get her to follow along. That's what she said. But I was there and I never saw a plane or even a debris from the plane. I figured the plane story is there to brainwash the people, which is exactly what I think happened. There's multiple reports of a smell of cordite, which is used in ammunition. Jet fuel has a distinct smell, so you wouldn't be smelling that if that's what was actually happening. Like we just talked about, the FBI took tapes from the gas station, hotel, and the Virginia Department of Transportation. Like we said, if it's legit, then just release the tapes. And when they actually released the 5 frames hitting the building, if I'm not mistaken, none of them showed a plane.
Very poorly.
I mean, like, super poorly.
Yeah. I remember seeing it when I believed in 9/11, the official story.
Oh, really?
And just kind of being like, yeah, it seemed like they could have done better than that.
Yeah, I mean, really.
Yeah. So it almost seemed too perfect, too. It almost, because the way it looks is how that jet is
had to be fucking parallel.
Yeah, perfectly
come on,
paralleled.
man, yeah.
And it didn't seem like that was possible.
No. Also, of course, if you know about 9/11, then you've heard of Tower 7. How it was definitely, if you watch the videos, if you watch the video of all 3 of the buildings, they're all controlled demolition.
Yeah.
All of them. But Tower 7 was just one because it was off away. And it was actually, they reported Tower 7 going down before it actually went down. But it included the CIA, Department of Defense, IRS, Secret Service, and Rudy Giuliani's emergency bunker, which is being used by the SEC to store like somewhere in the range of 3,000 to 4,000 files related to Wall Street investigations. So it's basically just like, all right, let's clean it up. Let's clean up shop, boys. Let's burn all the fucking evidence, is what it seems like. And then the rest of this right here is just all reports of certain buildings that actually got hit but never went down. July 28th, 1945, B-25 bomber hit the Empire State Building, 14 deaths, but the building still stood. February 1975, fire started between floors 9 and 14 in the North Tower. Never went down. May 4th, 1988, 62-story building burned for 3 hours and spread over 4 floors, never collapsed. That was in L.A. February 1991, building in Philadelphia burned for more than 19 hours, spread over 8 floors, still did not collapse. October 2004, 56-story in Venezuela burned for over 17 hours, spread over 26 floors, even reaching the roof, still did not collapse. February 2005, Windsor building in Madrid burned for almost 24 hours. The top 10 floors did fall, but the bottom section of the building did not. The Twin Towers burned for only 56 minutes and 103 minutes and collapsed onto their own footprint. And there's actually a math equation to figure out free fall speed based off a building. It's kind of complicated because I can't really show it and explain it the way the guy did, as well as he did. But basically what we're saying is, if you do the calculation, it comes up to like around 9, in between 9 or 10 seconds, and the buildings fell in 9.2 seconds. So the equation works out completely free fall speed. Multiple reports of multiple explosions in the same building from many cops, firefighters, and just rescue squad individuals, and also just regular people getting out of the building. Fox News reporter says that FBI was making off area. The FBI was off area taking pictures just before the explosions. Now this guy is kind of like, I don't know if I 100% believe this guy, but it's interesting if this is true. Which, I mean, it's kind of true because they found the black boxes, but they only claimed to find, 3?
I don't recall which one that was.
Okay, but Nicholas Damasi, he's a firefighter, claims he was assigned to take around federal agents to search for the black boxes. and he found 3 out of 4.
Mm-hmm.
And was it in the same video or was it a different video that they actually talked about how they showed it to the victims?
I remember
family?
the only one that I can recall hearing back then was the one up in Pennsylvania. They played it for them up to a certain point. That basically what it was proving the narrative that the passengers fought back, and that's why the plane went into the ground. The terrorists purposely drove it into the ground because the people was busting through the door, and that's when they stopped playing it. So
I still don't agree with the whole protocol of. If I'm not mistaken, they were saying the planes were hijacked like 20 minutes into the flight.
Yeah.
And and this woman, if I can bring up her name real quick, who was this? Rebecca Roth talks about the protocol for stewardess and the pilots, and says that in a terrorist attack situation, the pilot is to never open the door in any circumstance, and to land the plane no matter what's going on behind him in the cabin, and let the authorities come to the landed plane and handle the rest of the situation. But in no situation at all should they ever open the door willingly.
Yeah.
And evidently that happened within 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Which sounds pretty far-fetched to me. But also she talks about the plane calls, which if you really look into those, those really don't make any sense. They were about, both of those were around 30-minute calls. One of them there was only like 4.5 minutes recorded. The other one I can't fully remember, but one of them was saying they called from, if I remember right, like a just an in-flight like cell phone type deal, and you can only do that if you're grounded.
Oh, I do remember seeing that part.
So it's insane.
But the thing is that when it comes to that though, is they used to always make a big deal about using your cell phones on the plane.
On the plane, right?
That it was against the law almost, because
basically
it would work, but it would mess up something.
Everything around it.
So that's one of the things I don't get about that.
And they also inside the phone calls, they kept on saying, "We're in the air, we're hijacked, we're in the air." You wouldn't need to say that you're in the air if you're hijacked. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, trying to just throw that out there really shows that you're kind of taking somebody else's word. Like, tell them this, tell them this, tell them we're in the air. And also there was one where they were someone called their mom or something like that, a family member, and they gave them their full name or something. Yeah,
like that was fishy right there.
Very
I remember
fishy,
that.
Super fishy. It's like, if you know your family member, you don't need to tell them your whole name.
Yeah.
That doesn't make much sense. It's, you know what I'm saying? You could say it's your first name and they know exactly who you're talking about. Not this is first, last, or first, middle, and last. It's a little weird. But
and what if that call was real, but that was the first use of like a deep fake AI type thing where they simulated that guy's voice?
Well, because they probably had the technology back then.
Yeah,
to do that.
Somebody just fucked up and typed in his whole name by
accident. On accident.
And that's why.
Or they copy and paste it instead of just typing his first name. Damn, never thought of that. But I don't know. One of the things about 9/11 is it's just programming at the lowest level, because once you break it down, they found the passports equals yes, they did it. They found the Qurans equals yes, they did it. They knew the hijackers equals yes, they did it. There was footage of a hijack at the airport. Yes, they did it. All those are just telling you, yeah, they did it. Yeah, they did it. Yeah, they did it. Believe they did it, because these are the reasons why you need to believe they did it. But I mean, like I've said before, 9/11 is still more surface level than I still think that it needs to be.
Well, the thing is that to a lot of people, 9/11 is almost like their
turning point.
It's like their real life devil, and that the majority of people right now are not going to believe a 9/11 conspiracy.
No,
because they grew up in the post 9/11 area,
right?
And
Instead
like
of
I
just told
said,
that it happened.
and my thing too is that like it kind of, trying to see how the word is without being offensive. What I was almost talking about, it doesn't mean that they are terribly asleep. Like, in my opinion, you can wake them up on different issues. Like we was talking about, like the drugging of the population of, you got the pharmaceutical companies drugging
This is a good point.
The public.
It's almost easier to wake them up that way, as you're saying.
And that they would be more acceptable to looking into that and be like, okay, there's a problem there. What's going on? And that I think the way that it almost like you have to lead them to 9/11. If you throw 9/11 up at them too quickly, it's too easy for them to be like,
nope.
Yeah, because it used to be back in the day that if you believe in aliens, you was that way. It's it's acceptable to believe in aliens now.
It's almost mainstream.
It's mainstream, and
it should show you it's bullshit.
Where it's almost mainstream to target 9/11
as a conspiracy.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So,
because most conspiracy theorists are, I don't even want to call them theorists because Brian Rose had a great term for David Icke. It's a conspiracy realist.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just a theory. It's not just, there's facts and stuff that you connect together to throw in a comprehensive, whatever you want to call it. But, damn it, where the hell was I going with this? Regardless, I see what you're saying, because there is, we can definitely discuss this, the opioid thing, how it was at like a really, really low number, in terms of percentage of the world, and then we go infiltrate. Was it Iraq, Iran? Is that where?
Afghanistan.
Okay, sorry. Then we go over to Afghanistan, and then within a few years it spikes up to 93%.
Yeah. Like I said, we was out there protecting.
Opium.
They had videos of the army protecting the opiums because they was going through there destroying them. So
That's
I
insane.
mean, it really is, and it really, like I said, when it boils down to, you remember David Icke was back there when he was talking in that London Real interview about the inversion, the one recently.
Yeah,
and it goes back to something I said in an earlier podcast, is that you have people who are making bad decisions to hurt the population, but in the back of their mind, they're doing good. So, see, it's a very slippery slope because in that sense where they're doing good.
Like, as in they're not doing it on purpose? Or you mean they are, but they're just feeling good about it?
Yeah, they feel good about it. Like, in their opinion, they're being good by hurting the public.
Okay.
And then those people go around and they do good for the public as well, and it gives them that social persona of being a charitable person, a good person. Like, have you looked into the Haiti situation in the Clinton Foundation?
No.
Oh, damn.
I
think a lot of this is still going to come out eventually. All right, so I don't know how much you kept up with the 2016 election, but did you ever see the point?
I did pretty good.
All right, you remember Clinton when she was like, just bitches being bitches? It was like a Snapchat or Instagram video.
No, I didn't see this. I'll be honest with
Well, it was just her trying to be cool and funny.
My God.
And the lady that's sitting beside of her worked for the Clinton Foundation, and she was arrested in Haiti trying to smuggle children out of the country. Like, they actually have video of her in the jail cell being accused and charged of this. This was a high-ranking person in the Clinton Foundation.
Okay.
And it's just not like Clinton, if this story could have come out, it's like, well, I don't control everybody that works there. Like, it shows her sitting beside the lady.
So it's like...
Yeah, after she didn't get arrested for trying to smuggle kids out of Haiti.
All right.
And...
this was after?
Yeah, this was after
Christ.
she had been arrested. So, I mean, it was like she got arrested for this, and I guess...
And you still support it, or you still, cool with her, tight with her?
And, but see, that's what I was kind of getting back at, is that with George Clooney and all these elites, they look for these disasters, these earthquakes, tsunamis, to go and set up like the Red Cross,
Charitable,
UN, right. And they start fucking kidnapping people. Like when they see,
Jesus.
like, all right, what happened to that boy's parents? Oh, both his parents died
let's
in
get
the
him.
earthquake.
Throw him in a van.
Yeah, he's out. And like the people in these countries know this. Like they know what's going on. There was a lot of Haiti people who was protesting Clinton, talking
Really?
about how little of the money went to the victims. Like,
Well, yeah,
it's all a fucking scam.
it all is. Well, especially because I've heard stories. I'm not gonna say who, but there's someone that I've heard of that actually their family had a charity.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that this is corrupt. I'm just saying this is kind of how it works. Like everyone thinks that you just give the charity, you don't get anything back. That is false, because you start a charity, and that particular person, was given old classic cars for free because that charity had a museum or like a museum or something like that, and he was just given these things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not like they're doing this for a benefit also. It doesn't just they don't just give it. They're getting something back.
Oh, yeah.
They are.
Well, the thing is, like, the majority of charities that show very little goes to the actual cause.
Right.
You know, Bono back in the 2000s was like the liberal god. Like, he had raised all this money and was doing so good for the people. And he had, like, one of the biggest charitable foundations
Wasn't
back.
he with AIDS or some shit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Come to find out, I think it was like 3 or 5% of all the money
You shit me.
raised. Yes.
Good
3 to 5%
God.
actually went to actually doing anything.
I tell you what, that's probably a better way to awaken people than the 9/11 is the charity events and the opioid crisis and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because it just it really like sparks you open like, what the fuck? That's completely. I don't care who you are. That's completely fucked up.
Yeah.
Especially when it's going to places like the AIDS or the special needs kids or whatever it may be, the foster kids or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And they're only getting 3 to 5% of the money that you're supposedly giving them.
Which, I mean, at least they're just stealing money. I mean, you had the Catholic Church, you know, they was running a school for the deaf, blind, and dumb and was raping them. So, I mean,
Well, that's a good
if you
point.
know a kid is, you know, deaf, blind, and dumb, there's a
you
chance,
can-
you know, you could rape them and get
Man,
away with it.
that's-
So.
That's sick, man. That's just.
And then,
I
like,
can't believe people do that.
yeah, it really is. It's awful. And, but see, it's issues like that are legit that if presented to them correctly and they saw the evidence, they're going to be like, oh, shit, you know.
Wait a minute. Yeah.
And see, eventually, so many of those will pile up that they'll see something on 9/11 and be like, oh,
Okay.
fuck. It
Right.
may be legit.
Like, oh shit, that is legit.
Yeah. So.
Well, that's like the bones found in the Vatican.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wasn't now? Is it now? What did they find out that those were children?
Probably so, but
adolescent bones. or
But see, that's how it happens. Is that it'll get reported on,
it did. I mean, I've seen it.
but then it will be
and then
no
it'll be like,
follow up.
"Oh, let's shovel that
And
underground.
then, say 5 years from now, you see a cover up. They're like, "Well, we're sorry, we covered it. We didn't know about the cover up."
Right.
And they never follow up on shit.
They don't because I remember because when I seen it, I couldn't remember if they actually said it was child's bones or not. But I do remember they said I 100% remember them saying that there was bones found in the Vatican, regardless of
Yeah.
what age it was. There was bones, and I'm
Oh,
pretty sure
yeah.
that they said they were small. They just didn't figure it out if it was a small.
Yeah,
shit,
there's a lot
small
of
adult or
fucked up
whatever.
shit over there.
Oh,
in
yeah.
that area. And like I said, never in history has a pope come out and actually got involved in U.S. politics. But this pope has actively come out and was against Donald Trump during the campaign.
This is true.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, and that has never happened before. So, I mean, you know.
Which, as much as I enjoyed Donald and support him, I'm honestly kind of starting to dial back only because even if he's not necessarily controlled opposition, they've used him as such because they've used him to divide the country,
Yeah.
slam in half. I mean, it's just it's sad because I mean, if people would actually watch like this one thing, I think it was the Charlottesville. I talked about this yesterday. Wasn't the Charlottesville protest with the statue and shit where people got
Yeah.
ran over by the car and shit?
By one
Okay.
person decided to do something.
Right, now this
Yeah.
is what he's saying. It was like, and he said this, people only take the slice of it where he said there's people that were right on both sides, but they forget to show the public the part where he said, I'm not talking about the white supremacists, the white nationalists. I'm not talking about the people that caused the violence. I'm talking about the peaceful protesters on both sides. Both of them had a point, you know what I'm saying, on each side.
Yeah.
And he said, I condemn the white nationalists, the white supremacists, but people don't listen to that. Or they're not even shown that.
No.
because it's too.
Oh well, you know,
it's
it
too true.
showed. You know, you've seen where the Canadian PMs got caught blackfaced.
Was that recent, wasn't it?
Yeah, recently,
Like
you know,
stupidly recent.
Stupidly,
I
like
haven't
yesterday.
Even, yeah, I didn't even watch it.
Yeah.
I thought that's how recent it is.
But you know, like he was considered their Obama. Like he was this very progressive, liberal guy.
Okay.
But he's just a piece of shit. And my thing is, he was probably one of those. You know, I think he's the son of a former leader. You know, he was raised in a very privileged environment, and he wants to portray that on everybody. But no, he did have privilege that the majority of the people didn't have. And but what I was getting at was Don Lemon. Like they showed how he reacted from other people doing that shit to where he was basically sucking that guy off, basically how great he was to come out and say he was sorry and how he had privilege and he was wrong. But no, it was if he would have been a right wing guy,
right,
he would have been resigned by now because they would have stayed on him for so long.
Oh, they would have grilled him.
Yeah,
that's like because Kavanaugh's out now, right?
No, he's on the Supreme Court.
No, is he really?
Yeah. He survived
got on.
it. Yeah, he got on.
Damn, I'm impressed.
Because you need to go watch the.
I never followed that. I mean, I followed it a little bit, but I followed.
When they had the hearings,
is what I meant.
Oh man, he ripped those motherfuckers a new one.
Kavanaugh
man.
did?
Yeah, like he didn't go
after the fact. I'm pretty sure because I heard a little bit where
Yeah.
he was talking about how they were completely ruining his image over some bullshit.
Yeah, he got up there and he ripped into him, and he knows.
Well, this is the problem: is that and I hate to throw the word out there because I don't even like it when people use a label, but like most people, I'll just say this: most people on the left, in any situation where a woman says she's raped, they're inclined to go ahead and, yep, that's true. Not they don't think of, oh well, you know, it was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
She was drunk. He was drunk. I'm pretty sure. Who the hell knows if it was him? It might have been him. Evidently, it sounds like it wasn't, but it could have been someone that looked like him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It didn't have to be him. They were at a college party, if I'm not mistaken. So I mean, let's be realistic. But and there's some women that'll claim that just for the attention, also, which it sounds like what she was doing, or she was even a plant for the opposition to take him down.
Oh, it looks like a plant. Like the evidence, like I can't remember all the evidence, but it was pretty.
It was all
damning.
hearsay, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was pretty damning. You know, like. But you know, the thing is, it's like the way shit has went down. It's almost as if they had Hollywood scriptwriters writing that shit. Like,
well, I believe it because I mean, honestly, all of it in the simplest form. All the politics, anything that you see on the TV is a show.
Yeah.
Regardless of its politics, whatever the hell it may be. That's what that's exactly what Andrew Yang said. We're up here, you know, with our rehearsed attack lines in this reality TV show.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what it is.
And I wish I could remember when, but Rogan used to go on this rant talking about how the way everything was in the news. He was like, if it is a matrix, it is basically calling itself out, pointing itself out.
No,
like,
it is.
At the time, you know, the big story at that time was Anthony Weiner, and he got in trouble for showing a picture of his wiener to a girl. But there was multiple stories just like that. Like when you look at the story and everything, you're like, damn, if somebody was just fucking with us on a computer, they're doing it right now because all these main stories was like, hey, look at us, we're fucking with y'all right now.
Well, this is exactly. I think he could be right in the fact that how you said conspiracy theories are a distraction from the truth, because they're almost too perfectly planted to be a theory in the first place.
Yeah.
Like 9/11, there's so much shit against it. It's like, come on, really? It's too obvious that you guys did this on purpose so that people would focus on that, not the true stuff at hand. But I mean, if you don't necessarily believe in the full matrix, as in we're literally in a simulation, then you can believe that society itself is the matrix within this reality. In terms of like having the 9-to-5 job, going to work, you know what I'm saying, Monday through Friday, having the weekend off, that kind of stuff is a matrix within itself, because it's like, play the society's game. Play this game right here. Don't worry about what else is going on around it. You know what I'm saying? Stay right here. This is where you want to be. It always tells you, that's what I got from the movie. was not only like, oh, this is possibility for the truth in terms of we might be plugged in, but also that society itself is the matrix, even if it's not plugged in, we're not plugged in.
That's funny. I remembered, I watched a lot of football over the weekend. Hadn't really watched a lot of football recently. And
I watched a little bit Sunday.
Really? Yeah, like I said, I enjoyed it. I watched more college, but
I watched the Cowboys, that's about it.
What really got me more than anything, do you pay attention to the commercials?
Not really, because I didn't really watch. I got a glimpse of when the game was on.
Pick one of the games, basically like a Sunday night football, Monday night football, prime time.
Second. Go ahead.
And I forgot because, like, for the longest time, I wouldn't watch TV, or if I did watch TV, I would purposely avoid the commercials because I knew it was just propaganda,
which it always is.
And but I watched them, and I mean, they sucker people in big time. Like it's almost like most commercials is like a magician in the background speaking spells into people's heads, and it's almost like
that.
One of them was a car commercial, and it roped you in like with this guy and his family and how precious the family and the loved ones are.
Oh, it's probably Subaru.
Yeah. It was an auto commercial,
right?
And but see, that's how they trigger people. See, the thing is, most people won't remember that car consciously. They'll just remember the message of the car.
Yep.
And when they have that concept of that emotion, their subconscious is telling them,
go get that car.
Yeah, you need to go get a car.
Go get that car.
And that's what happens is most people, they work Monday through Friday.
Yep.
They have to get their yard work and their life's work done on Saturday.
Yep.
Sunday is their day just to get drunk and watch football.
Yep.
And the thing is, the football brings out the aggression, which is good. But then the commercials is almost like your brainwashing conditioning for the work week. It was like, yes, you want to go do this because
you can get this.
And the thing is like if you take a look, that car I just got there, less than $200 a month payment, and but how much do you think those people who's buying those fancy cars on TV, they're paying $400, $500, $600 to a bank,
dumb,
for the permission to drive around that car.
Yeah,
and then on top of that, he said, see, think about how much of when they go to work, the average person spends maybe a third on rent, damn near a third on the damn car payment and gas and insurance.
Right.
Yeah. You see, the economy is just the money's going into a couple of people's pockets.
Yeah.
And then those commercials, when you start to realize that and you feel sad and depressed and lonely, well, here's a prescription drug for you to take.
Yeah.
So,
which is true.
Yeah. And then they usually advertise some type of dipshit TV show that is a distraction.
The fucking God Almighty. I think it's on MTV. Most of the MTV shows right now are fucking insane. The Bravo network with the housewives and shit.
Oh my God!
My mom loves that. I'm be honest with you.
And
I'm telling you, I'll tell you what though, it's weird because I'll sit there, I'll be doing something else, listening to something, and I will get distracted a little bit by that shit because it's really it's not even entertaining. Man. It's just like I'm just sitting there like, why the fuck are they? What the hell are they doing? Why is this a show about people's lives that is obviously scripted? I mean, the arguments they have are fucking ridiculous. It's like, why are we watching rich people and making them richer by watching them?
Yeah.
Do absolutely nothing but argue. And it is, I don't know.
It's amazing how popular, and a couple of things, but Hulu played a sick joke on me one day. I fell asleep watching something. And how normally it was keep showing that same show.
Yeah.
Somehow, goddamn,
switched the show?
It switched the show on me. Because what happened was I finished the series. I probably started Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
No shit.
Yes. So that's just playing over and over while I sleep. And then I wake up. I might have sat there for another 3 or 4 hours watching that shit.
I bet you did.
Because they're hot as hell. How can I not watch them? Honestly, I'm just sitting there like, God damn. And then, that's all I'm sitting there thinking about something else. But next thing you know, that show's got me wrapped in. And, I'm watching it, and I was just like, fuck. And I haven't watched it since.
Really?
Where most people, on the other hand, they'd
Would
been
be
hooked.
like, all right, now I gotta
can't
watch
wait to
it.
go home and watch the rest of this.
Yeah.
But they're good. They know what they're doing.
Oh yeah, no. The like I've said before, I will give my as much as I dislike what they're doing, I'll give my hat off. As in, they have some very effective propaganda, like insanely effective.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you about this one commercial that me and my mom saw today over and over and over again because they only played fucking one commercial until like the last time they finally switched it up. It was on Sling TV. So like the ads are, it's almost like YouTube. Like you get an ad within the episode, and it's not necessarily like a TV program ad, but it's like they put it in there.
I know what you mean.
Okay,
yeah.
so it was about young kids in a school. And at first it's like, you've seen this.
I've heard about it.
Okay, this is
Yeah.
fucking ridiculous. It's like, oh, I love my scissors at school so I can protect myself. And he's like hiding behind the fucking door. I love my colored pencils. She's holding them like this, like about to stab somebody. And then she's like, I love my tube socks. Taking it off. It's really nice to stop bleeding. His leg's fucking bleeding like crazy.
Oh,
And then she's on her phone. I love my phone to text my mom. She's hiding in the fucking bathroom. It's all a piece about Sandy Hook.
Yeah.
What's fucking ridiculous is, as me and my mom were like, what the fuck is this garbage? Like, it's all about, let's put you in a feared state
Yeah.
and it just feeds you some bullshit. It's just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I
And
mean,
the thing is, you will have one here within a matter of weeks because, in my opinion, what that's doing is that's
pre-programming you?
it's fear porn. And it's scaring a lot of kids. A lot of kids are going to watch that, and they're going to
No,
take
you're right.
that fear with them
You're right.
to school. And like I was telling you,
shit.
if you have 1,000 people,
No, this is, go ahead. I'm sorry.
majority
You
of
got me
people
going
are
now. This
good.
is genius.
but then within that 1,000 people, if next thing you know, 501 are in a fearful negative state,
Yep.
that's like a magnet that's going to bring some type of negative force or energy in. And, oh, fuck, man.
It's like they've said it before. I can't remember if it was you or I heard it on a video. They take mentally unstable kids to begin with, bring them in, or not even bring them in at this point. Fucking throw it on television. It's fucking insane. Catch more people, I guess, more
and
effective.
the thing is, and that goes back to Obama and something that they did. If Obama had not changed the rules, that Nicholas Cruz, the last one, would have been kicked out of that school. Because it used to be if you had 4 or more like misdemeanor charges, you was kicked out of school. But Obama and them came in and said, no, you can't kick these juvenile criminals out of school.
Okay.
You have to allow them into the public schools. So see, that nut job probably shouldn't have been in school, period. But with that new progressive push,
Then-
they was putting the criminals in the schools because they know they're going to act this out. Because like I said, Bill Cooper was writing about this back in the 80s or 90s, talking about how they was going to basically drug the youth into psychoactive drugs
They have.
and then basically make them violent through video games and movies.
Who said this?
Bill Cooper.
When did he say this?
Oh man, it was back like 89 or
He's a
90.
fucking
Yeah, he's a genius. That's
prophet.
the one. Yeah, they
God
killed
damn it.
him. That was the one I
No,
told
they
you.
did really?
Yeah, that's the one I played you where he was talking about Osama bin Laden back in June
Yeah.
of 2001.
Wow.
Yeah, he was very popular. Very knowledgeable.
Super, because that's exactly what's happening.
Exactly.
Because you
When
have all the
yeah.
diagnoses
And-
of ADHD, ADD, attention disorders, and you give them, let's feed them these pills.
Yeah, and the thing is this isn't just somebody saying they heard him saying this. This is what he wrote in his book.
Right.
He called it out word for word, and so we was talking about how Obama let those kids back in there,
Mentally unstable.
and
Or not mentally unstable, criminals.
yeah, man, there was something else I was getting ready to go with too with that, and it just completely left me. What was we talking about before that?
That
That the kids going to school, the crazy ones getting involved.
not only that, but like them feeding them propaganda to the mentally unstable kids in the first place.
Yeah.
Even before that, though,
I can't remember.
Lost it.
I lost it.
I got you. But no, it's all a part of that, especially with the war on drugs kind of deal. Because I think that most of the drugs of especially the ones that they push from the pharmaceutical companies are all ones to keep you taking more.
Yeah, and you do know that's
Never
the
enough.
third leading cause of death in this country.
What's that?
Prescription drugs.
Seriously.
The medical industry is the third leading cause of death.
All right, now I've posted on this, and this is how it needs to be. If we're going to talk about medicine, this is how it needs to be. It does not need to be diagnostic medicine. It needs to be preemptive care medicine. Or preventative Medicare. Or, sorry, damn it, medicine.
Yeah.
In terms of you go to the doctor and they ask you, what are you eating? Are you getting some exercise? Are you doing these kind of things? Not, oh, you got this, that, the other, get on this pill. You know what I'm saying? They need to instill a better lifestyle for people in the first place, which of course they won't, because they don't want they don't want that to happen. They want you to be hooked on these drugs. They want you to be hooked on these things, to depend on the government to give you these pills and charge you out the fucking ass for them.
Yeah.
My grandma needs this stuff. Well, their doctor says she needs it. At this point, I don't even know if she does need it, because the fucking government's so goddamn corrupt. I don't know what the fuck, where the hell all the corruption lies right now. But it's like this inhaler stuff, but it's like a powder. Like you inhale it once. It's not like a puffer. It's like a.
Yeah.
But anyways, you know what it cost at CVS?
Oh shit, hundreds of dollars.
$160. One fucking thing. Jesus Christ, what the hell is that about?
And where's all that money going? I mean,
see, I was thinking about that in the store when they said $160. I'm thinking in my head, the company's there to supposedly, well, obviously not cure you, because that's of course that's too effective. They don't want that. They want to keep it stringing along. They just want to cure your symptoms. So it's like, okay, so my $160 is it going to all research for them to
no, that's
make me better?
They're not. I
No,
mean,
exactly.
yeah.
But that's what most people think, right? Probably.
Yeah.
But that's nowhere close to the truth. It's probably closer to the fucking charities. It's probably like 3 to 5% of that goes to the research, and the rest of 95% goes to their fucking pocket.
Oh yeah, it was ridiculous. I think they showed it one year. Like it was like $5 billion was spent on research, and like $25 billion was spent on advertising.
You fucking kidding me?
Yeah, so they got the numbers.
Good Lord.
I mean,
man.
it's just
That's ridiculous.
most people don't care. I mean,
Isn't it unfortunate? Yeah. Well, not only they don't care, most people don't know, or most people don't know enough to question.
And
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I guess the thing is that, I take that back. I misworded that. Is that most people are so consumed with their own lives.
Yeah, they don't broaden out to
that they don't look at the bigger picture. And I'm not saying that those people are wrong. They're
Right.
living their lives.
Hey, do what you do.
It is what it is.
Exactly.
But it's like the ones who want to come and be almost like prophets or messengers and like try to spread the truth and information. Some people, they start throwing stones at them because they're too afraid, I think, of being wrong. It's like
in terms of the people that are actually, I guess what we would deem like asleep, would call the people that are trying to spread this message.
Right,
You're
like,
crazy.
Yeah,
You're dumb.
There's a lot of
these are conspiracy theories. These are, you know what I'm saying? These are things that don't actually exist.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is untrue. The media wants you to think they're untrue, and that's why they make fun of conspiracy theorists. You know what's fucking hilarious? It's not hilarious because some people actually believe it, or actually not only believe it, but think that he acts like this, which he kind of does. I'm not gonna lie, but I mean, he has a lot more truth than what they're saying. Okay, so Stephen Colbert, I think is his name.
Yeah.
He's got the late night show,
Yeah.
like the rest of the fucking propaganda mouse.
Used to be more the right wing guy, I believe.
Did he really?
He was considered the Republican Jon Stewart.
God, I can't see that now.
They tell me about
hell.
it. Yeah, it went.
Jesus Christ, completely. So that's how you can tell he's a fucking puppet, because he just gets controlled like that. But he has a bit where he makes fun of Alex Jones. Instead of InfoWars, it's Brain Wars or some shit, and he's just like playing a character, trying to make fun of Alex Jones. But I went and looked at the comments, and I was waiting for someone to be like, kind of like on our level of thinking and more open to reality. But almost everybody was saying, yeah, that's exactly how it is. This is hilarious. Alex is a fucking idiot. All this kind of stuff. And it's sad because most people will believe what those kind of people will tell them.
And the good thing is that most of those jack-offs, they don't vote. They act like they're very
okay, that's a good
political, but we really have lower voter.
We have a
turnout.
very low. Wasn't it like 50% of the population votes?
50 or 60%.
It's very low.
Very low, and that's just of the voter people who are eligible to vote.
Excuse me?
Yeah, that's
That's not even the slice that actually votes? Or are you saying...
Well, yeah, because, you got 330 million people in this country.
Okay.
You got a lot of little kids who are under 18.
Oh, okay.
So that's of the vote and people who actually registered to vote, they only get 50 or 60%.
This is insane. I tell you what also is a dumb thing, since we're talking about elections, is the people that don't want to deal with the electoral college. I'll tell you this.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want to deal with the electoral college, then you might as well not go out or just move to California and New York.
Yeah.
Because those people are going to be those are going to be the states that actually decide the election.
Mm-hmm.
Because the electoral college is there to put smaller states or less dense in population states with more points, so that they can actually have a chance. But like I've heard before, which is true, it's you're not going to win because the government gets in every year.
What now?
You're not gonna actually win in the election. You're not gonna win a side because the government gets in every year.
Oh, very good point. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, regardless of who's in there, their point's going to be driven across. I'll tell you who's catching some steam right now, which I'm very impressed with, is that Yang. Have you looked into him?
Yeah, a little bit. And the thing is that
some of his stuff's like, all right, come on, you're kind of playing to the leftist side, but for that, I'm telling you, the UBI is a game changer, in my opinion.
No, it could be. And the thing is that I think he's just kind of he's just putting it in people's heads right now. Like, I really can see a lot of what he's talking about taking place, but in like 20 years.
See, it's unfortunate, though, because I think what needs to happen, it needs to happen sooner.
Yeah.
Because by the time that he does, or what I'm saying, people actually understand the message that he's saying and realize that it's time to have those things put in place, it's going to be too late.
Yeah.
Everybody's already going to be hectic and shit, I think.
Yeah, but see, that's another thing. They were showing all the times that the climate people, like back in the 70s, they was predicting another ice age. And then in
Isn't
the
that
90s,
hilarious?
yeah, and in the 90s, they was talking about how hot it was going to get. And you got all these people who came back out then saying, we got 10 years and we're toast. Well, it's been 20 years and nothing's happened.
Well, I get what you're saying, but I think it's a little different in terms of the AI movement. Because that's what he's talking about. He's talking about the AI taking over the jobs.
Yeah, and
which is actually happening now. That's why Amazon's buying out malls or whatever and filling them all with the machines to do their packing and shit at a very low cost, which is exactly what they said that Donald Trump's what his plan was in good heart, but not effective because he's trying to get everybody to bring their jobs back to America, bring your workers back to America instead of going to China to get your shit assembled.
Yeah.
But what that's unfortunately doing is companies are now investing more into the AI robotic side of the thing because they're a lot cheaper than paying a worker to do it.
Oh yeah.
So
and that was something that Hillary Clinton talked about in the campaign was we're no longer a manufacturing country. We are a service economy. And that's basically what they want people to do is to go into customer service. And because Walmart was talking about that, talking about how when they keep getting these AI robots, they don't want to lay the people off. They want to give them the training to become customer service people. And that's what it all boils down to is the fact that they want the majority of the working public to be more service people than actual workers.
Not only that, I think even that's going to go away though, because of people interacting with technology more. You see it at McDonald's now. You got the fucking little screens that you press now.
Yeah,
you don't even interact with the people. And not only that, it's even to the point where like if you want to go order a cheeseburger up at the counter. You have to tell them first because at first they're standing there and they're like, oh, you want to order? Let me come help you with the screen. It's not like, oh, what do you want? You know what I mean? Which will be 10 times easier.
And the thing is like it's quicker, easier, and I think it'd be better because let's face it, a lot of people that's working at McDonald's they're kind of rude.
That's a good point.
They hate their job and they think that they're miserable and they pass that miserable on to other people.
Okay.
And then Yes, I mean, and,
So some positivity could come out of that. I see what you're saying.
I think so, and that's one of the reasons why I try not to eat a lot of fast food, because I feel like energy transfers. So if
Right.
you got somebody that's angry and pissed off,
Making your burger and shit.
they're touching your food and they're handing it to you.
Yeah.
You're consuming
feeling
that.
that
Yeah,
energy.
yeah. That's one of my theories. But then again, I don't think people would get as sick. Think about how many people go to those places. They're working and they're
Ooh, damn, that's
sniffling
a
the
good point.
entire time.
That's
So
a good
see,
point.
yeah, I mean,
Didn't think
but
about
those
that.
people have got to work somewhere. So I mean,
And that's the unfortunate truth, and I think that's why I keep on going on the fucking just let's eliminate currency, which I know it sounds like a crazy concept. Like, how the fuck can you eliminate money from the equation? Everyone needs to
Yeah.
work. Everyone needs to have money to buy services and goods and stuff like that. But in reality, once you awaken to the true nature of what's going on here, you don't really. You don't. I mean, honestly, I mean, like I said, I mean, you can have a slice of society that wants to go play with the fucking cash. Let them go. Let them go. You know what I mean? But it doesn't. It's not a necessary thing. It's just really not. It doesn't. There's not really a benefit. The only thing with currency, and I heard it on this one. I think it was a podcast type deal, or like a show on YouTube or something. Regardless, it was on YouTube, and this guy had a really good point. He's talking about currency and money, and he's saying how with currency and with money, to have that and to succeed, you need to have someone to exploit. You need to have somebody to make take advantage of to become more wealthy, because you have to take it away from them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you want to become wealthy, because that's the whole dream, American dream. Let's become rich. Let's go get $1 million and all this kind of shit, materialistic bullshit. Let's go get that instead of finding true happiness and true purpose, or whatever you want to call it.
And then the thing is like I said, in a perfect world, the Andrew Wangs,
Yang.
they work and they're legit. But I think we live in a society, back to what we was talking about with the 9/11 and the virgin people, who they truly get their happiness and pleasures
From
fucking with humanity.
right,
We're nothing but sheep to them.
right,
So
exactly.
until you eliminate that top class,
No matter what.
it'll never work. Just like you said, they want people to fuck around with.
Well, this is honestly why I think eliminating currency altogether would do that,
Oh, look.
because then they would
yeah.
have no power.
Because it's all about the banks. And see, and it goes back to
You're
what
right.
we was talking about with the Federal Reserve.
Right.
We basically pay the banks to print and make our money, and then they control our economy. Because during the Obama years, they gave the banks money, they gave them loans at 0%. But as soon as Trump come in, they started raising the interest rates. Which that means, like, if the bank down the road, when they go get a loan from the Federal Reserve, where for 8 years they got that loan for 0, they
Now
now
they gotta
have
pay
to
it back.
pay whatever percentage.
Which means our rate goes up.
that means our rates go up. They pass it along to us, and that's what it basically boils down to. Is you got a class of people who gives money to the public, well, they give money to the banks, and you got a class of bankers who then disperse that money amongst the
us.
people, and that those people go and they work the rest of their lives to basically give all their energy and income back
bank.
to the banks,
And then the banks do all that to give it back to the top.
pretty much.
Well, this is like honestly similar to the, which I know is going to sound like a tangent, but it's really not in terms of the structure of a society today. I think the Hunger Games is basically like a mirror of society. You have
Yeah.
the working class individuals and all the people at the lower end fighting it out for, you know what I'm saying, trying to build their way up. And then you have the top elites just watching the fucking show.
Oh,
just
yeah.
like, oh, look at these guys killing each other for this shit.
Yeah.
Oh, this is fucking great. We're over here chilling with all this fucking shit we got.
Man, there was a dope movie. I think it's called Cabin in the Woods or something like that. But I don't want to give any spoilers, but that's what it all boils down to, is that you had a group of people who just felt like fucking with the average person.
That's what that is about?
Yeah, I have to look that
I never
up.
actually watched that one.
Yeah, it was a very good one. And I won't give any spoilers. I'll have to look it
You
up
can
and make
give
sure
us
that's
spoilers. I've
no.
spoiled many movies on this
Well, that
fucking
basically all it
podcast.
is that you think that they're at some type of haunted
But it's just somebody fucking with him.
But it was like a military installation, and the military was the ones pushing the buttons.
Wow.
And the thing was, it was the pothead who guessed it all at the very beginning. He was trying to tell the people
but
to
they
wake
wouldn't
up.
listen.
They wouldn't listen to
Because
him.
it's like, oh, you're smoking pot. You're crazy as hell.
Exactly. But he turned out being right.
See,
It's a great movie.
That's
You
the
need to lay out.
stipulation is anyone that consumes drugs that, and I'm calling them drugs, but anyone that consumes plants that open their mind to other possibilities, they're just like, oh, man, you consume plants that are deemed to be, make you stupid or whatever. Which I don't even know if that's ever been proven.
Oh, well, the thing is that they used the theory was that smoking pot kills brain cells.
Isn't the opposite true?
Well, they determined that it killed brain cells because what they did was they took 2 monkeys, put gas masks on them, and then pumped in marijuana smoke for like 10 minutes. So the reason they lost brain cells was because they had no oxygen for 10 minutes.
Oh, wow. They basically set it
Yeah.
up to make it seem. See, there always is a fucking little.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
It's like, oh, we want this result. I got a way to find that result. Here you go. Let's make it kind of make it sound legit, but here's the
I
fucking
gotta watch that
stipulation.
movie tonight. I gotta remember.
Cabin in the
name of it.
Woods?
No, I think it's called How High or.
That's
It's a documentary.
Oh, okay. About what you just said.
Yeah, and it trips you out. I have to look that up.
I'll tell you what's also a documentary that I want to watch is Game Changers. I don't know if you've seen that. It's a vegan kind of vegetarian.
No,
type
I haven't watched
documentary.
that one.
It's about athletes that go vegan or something like that and actually perform better.
And see, I'm gonna play devil's advocate, man,
here we
because
go.
Cam Newton, man, that dude went vegan, and look at that.
look.
Did you see that scarf that motherfucker wore? Have you yet to see him dressed after the football game?
No, I've seen him before. I've not seen him recently though.
I'm gonna look this
You got
up.
what? I gotta look at this shit.
But then who was another one? Adrian Foster. He was another big vegan.
Was he?
Yeah, and look, they both busted up, man. I think you got to because what I think it is like, I think you can go vegan and live a very healthy lifestyle. But when it comes to an NFL player, you have to admit those guys are on a different level.
In terms of what?
Speed, power. I mean,
Well,
like if you take,
they're a little enhanced. Most of them are on.
well, I would say,
on
okay, well, yeah, that
on the
And
needle.
see, and I think that when you become an NFL player like Cam Newton or like these running backs, you've got to have that animal source of protein
to give you that animalistic type of brain that. I get you.
to go. Wait till I show you Cam Newton, man.
You saying he looks gay? Is that what you're trying to say? Looks feminine. Let me tell you. Let's use that word.
Well, damn, Patriots released Antonio Brown. There goes my fucking
Already?
fantasy team. Yeah.
They already released his
That's
ass?
what it just says right here.
What the fuck?
They say more allegations came, but he does seem like a piece of shit. So maybe he does need to go. Oh, wait till you see, because man, if I was a team owner and I walked in and I saw my highest paid player, quarterback after a loss,
He plays like shit.
Jesus Christ, I cannot believe you have not seen this shit.
He looks like an old lady.
Yeah. There's even more, like, to me, I think it looks worse in some pictures.
In a different angle.
Yeah, in different angles. Like, that dude is, he's lost his goddamn mind, man. Have you seen him? They showed another picture of him at Walmart recently, and a fan was like, people, this is more serious than we realize.
Well, no, you know what they found? When people do steroid cycles, they do cycles so they have a time where they take it off and they have lower testosterone levels.
Yeah.
It's been proven in research that lower testosterone levels during that time actually speeds up the process of brain aging.
Really?
So he literally could be losing his mind. That's him in
Walmart.
He looks like that
recently.
one rapper. I don't know if you've seen him, Young Thug. He wears very feminine.
That's what.
Very, very feminine.
That's what he wore to Walmart. And I forgot, man. Somebody went off on it.
Look, wear whatever you want to wear, I guess. But that's interesting. I'll just say that at the least. I wouldn't choose to wear that. I'll tell you that. What's this?
That's Cam Newton right there. You can't tell me that is not some type of social CIA, MK Ultra. experience.
Propaganda.
This is Russell Westbrook going to a basketball
No.
game.
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
like
you're not
all.
seeing. No. Now, honestly, look. I think Russell, his fashion sense is insane. He wore a construction vest and thought it was fashionable. Look, man. I'm not gonna go.
I think he gagged on one too many times. Man. He got brain damage, man. I just. That dude's a different
Jesus.
man.
Well, that's honestly. I'm pretty sure that's also proven that not necessarily proven, but it's more. You're more inclined to go that way when you start taking those things because once you come off, then your testosterone goes really low, and then you start being more. Yeah, exactly. So you start being more feminine. So you're almost like, yeah, that guy looks pretty good now, and it's like, oh wow, okay, that's a little out there.
But see, but
do what you want to do. I guess.
All right, remember I was telling you when I worked in a group home and how that was a big issue. With
Yeah,
them
you told me
going
this, and I was so surprised by this shit.
About in Greensboro, where a group home that was owned by the police chief had one of their workers fucking the kids or fucking around with the kids.
God like even at the lowest level, there's still corruption. That's fucking insane. This is the point that people don't need to understand is that there's to think that the elites are not corrupt. When you see shit like that, where it's like a little police station in Greensboro is corrupt, it's like, come on, guys.
Oh, and you had the Ed Buck. Have you heard that story?
No.
Okay, so see, this story came out a while back, but he was a big-time Democrat donor. He would basically prey on gay black men and inject them with crystal meth and then have sex with them. Well, like 2 or 3 of them died, and the thing is, he never got arrested until yesterday. They finally arrested him and charged him for the other person's murder. So, it's some sick people.
How the fuck did they get away with that, man? I don't understand.
Because see, like they
I say
said,
that,
the
but
thing is, like he probably had donated money to every single Democratic.
there
See,
you
he
go.
was in a very blue area.
There you go.
And they protect each other.
Yep.
And that's what they was trying to point out. Like some of the victims, like if Ed Black would have been a black man and that would have been a white person killed, he had already been in jail. That's what they was trying to say.
Oh God.
But like I said, he's a very sick person. Like they're everywhere, and they're around mostly the left and the progressives. And are they trying to kill the average the man, the masculinity? Like have you seen that Gillette commercial?
You told me about this.
Yeah, well, I seen parts of it was just talking about how pathetic we are as men and we need to do better.
Right.
It was very sad.
It's like, goddamn, dude. I thought you were supposed to, because you said that. You're like, I thought you were trying to sell things, not.
Yeah.
No one's going to buy the fucking razors if you insult them and tell them that they're not a man. Well, that's like, if you look at what David has said, he said it before. That's part of the agenda, is they want one gender. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if you look, man, it's becoming very, very blurred lines in between genders right now.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
You think about how many kids are looking up to Cam Newton right now. God, man, bless that kid that goes to school with a scarf on the next day. But the thing is, it's popular now. I mean.
No, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
So.
Which is part of the thing. That's what, like I said, that's what David's talking about. They want, they want unity among the sheep. Mm-hmm. They want the sheep to all wear one coat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No black sheep, just all the white sheep, all the same old regular white sheep that just follows the herd.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I mean, all of it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Where was I gonna go with this?
It's so easy. Like we'll start on one subject, and next thing you know, we're on another one, and it's so easy to kind of. And you be like, oh, wait a minute.
Entangle things.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, I guess I'll bring it back to not necessarily the drug stuff, but just like the war on consciousness, because Graham Hancock talks about this.
Yeah.
It's the war on opening your mind. Because once you open your mind to these things, then you start to realize that most of the shit that you've been told that matters all your entire life actually doesn't mean a damn thing. Like, oh, you got to go get money, you got to go get your education, you got to go get this. But in reality, it's like that. Those things really don't fucking matter.
No, but the thing is that when you start to wake up and live a more conscious life, you really affect the banks more than anything else, because you're not buying the goods, you're not going for the loans.
Good point.
So see, those are the ones who are really controlling things.
Yeah.
Because in my opinion, the average person don't give a fuck if you're just a hippie, but the banks do, because hippies don't make money. Hippies don't make bank loans or
I get it.
shit
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So, and then we'll go back to like we was talking about with the commercials. It's all about buying material goods.
Yep.
And you got to have money to buy material goods, and you got to have banks to have money.
Yep.
That's what it all boils down to.
Yeah. Which, I mean, at that point, then you understand, once you get those connections, it's like, okay, so it was actually built this way. Like, I don't think there's any way that you can kind of add up all these things and say, man, that's just a coincidence.
Yeah.
It's just a bad design of society. No. They did that to exploit the working class and, you know what I'm saying, in the lower people in society.
Mm-hmm.
So that they can stay up in the fucking untouchable realm in terms of how much money they have and how much power they have.
No, yeah.
But
wrap it up.
we
Get
can, yeah.
we
We start getting stuck. Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
We had a pretty good one, I thought.
Yeah. Oh,
We
yeah.
had about a good solid hour or so with some
Yeah.
good shit in there.
Yeah. If I say we
yeah.
can get probably 2 out of that one with the 9/11, and then
yeah.
I can break it off to a different one. So that'll work, and then I'll probably come in with, you know what I'm saying, some other ones next week, some deeper topics or whatever. But adios.